This is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment only. This video is to update you on my hot stock list. The market seems to be maybe turning a corner, we hope. And so I am tiptoeing back in and buying some stocks back on my hot stock list. The complete list of hot stocks is at the end of this video, and there's an asterisk in front of each stock that has a video made about it in the past. I bought some good old Google, which is always a good buy, and which is part of the heart and soul of the internet, which includes Microsoft and Apple and Facebook, of course, and maybe Netflix too, we could throw in there, although nowadays I'm inclined towards Disney. I'm holding off on Amazon just because I think they're going the wrong direction now. They want to get back into brick and mortar and open big retail stores, which is just going to be a big expense. I think they'd be much better off to continue to expand their web services. But on the other hand, I'm buying Amazons of the world that are located in different places that are in an earlier stage of growth. I'm buying the Amazon of Singapore, which is C Limited. That is my favorite one. I've always liked that stock. I've never seen it really go down seriously. I probably will be buying more. Mercado Libre is a good e-commerce stock. It's the Amazon of Latin America. They have a lot of growth ahead of them, and they are more kind of inclusive, trying to do everything. But I think they're going to grow in spite of mistakes they'll make. I think they can't help but grow. I'm also buying Coupang simply because it's getting so cheap. It's around $30. I think it IPO'd like at 35 and then went up and then it's come down again. But of the three, I have the most doubts about Coupang, even though Bill Gates loves that stock. It seems to be in a good buy place right now. But frankly, depending on what happens, I'll watch it for a while, and if it starts to stall out, I'll transfer that money into C Limited and maybe Mercado Libre also. I bought Facebook once again just because I like the direction they're going in. They are going into virtual reality, and I'm sure they will merge that with social media in their usual interesting way. Matterport is a stock that's sure to grow. It's just a case of when and how much. I don't think you can really go too wrong on it. I put a little bit of money into that. Microvast keeps slowly going down, but I think it's probably at a buy point now. And the big advantage with them is they actually have a product. It isn't like QuantumScape where you're wondering, are they ever going to be developing their product? But QuantumScape has years to grow simply because they have billionaires like Soros and Gates, and the second biggest automaker in the world, Volkswagen, giving them hundreds of millions of dollars. So they're going to make it for the years that it'll take for them to develop the solid state battery. I just don't like putting too much money into a company that doesn't have a product yet, although I did go ahead and buy some QuantumScape today too, figuring that it will go up simply because the market seems to want to try to be hot. Let's see if we get some follow through. My two favorites on the list are probably NVIDIA and Palantir. NVIDIA, artificial intelligence graphics, they're going to use NVIDIA. I mean, I think they do like 90% of the graphics for artificial intelligence, and advanced micro devices is a distant second, and they do like 5 to 10%. They are a very distant second, and advanced micro devices is doing well. NVIDIA, this is something just to ride for the decades. This is one that I'll be ashamed of myself if I sell it. Palantir, we're trying to be patient with it, but it is one of my favorites. I think it's the best big data analyzer that there is. I think people are realizing it. Big data analysis is only going to increase. And now institutions are starting to buy Palantir. So I think it's going, I don't think you're going to see below 25 unless we have a major crash. I doubt that it would ever go below 20. It could go down, with a market crash, but I don't think, in normal circumstances, I don't see it going below 20. And I think maybe the days of below 24 are going to be behind us if we get some follow through on this uphill movement that we had today. My third and fourth favorites on the list are Unity Software and Roblox. We are going to play video games, and video game playing is only going to increase. I hear now there's crypto gaming, which has fascinated me and which I want to look into more. But it's a combination of two areas that I'm investing in, and I feel drawn to maybe like a moth to a flame. But Unity Software and Roblox, they're going to do good in spite of what happens with our health concerns. And speaking of crypto, I bought Cardano at about $1.80 or so, and it's gone into this wild upswing, and now it's in the 280s. So I'm very pleased with that. I was so pleased that I decided to buy 10,000 of Ethereum and 10,000 of Bitcoin. But I'm probably not as committed to those two. I probably would sell them if it looked like they started to crash. But I think maybe people are sick of stocks to some degree. And I even have the idea that stocks could go down and crypto could continue to go up simply because of Tina. There is no alternative. People are just looking for some place to put their money. You can't get interest anywhere. It's hard to buy real estate when it's this high. Where are you going to put it? I think you end up at stocks, and you try to buy reasonable values if you can find it, which we've been able to here lately. But I think crypto kind of creeps into the picture, and the more that Bitcoin leads the charge always. But I think Cardano is so interesting, and they want to be more than legal tender. Charles Hoskinson keeps saying he wants it to be more than legal tender, which is wild to me. The things you can use crypto for, as far as with these smart contracts, I think that's only going to grow. And I think one of the problems is cybersecurity. The hackers are getting to be such a problem that maybe crypto is difficult enough that they can severely reduce all the hacking that's going on. As you look through the list, the stocks that I put an asterisk in front of, those are the stocks that are talked about in previous videos. So if you look at the previous videos, it would give you a deeper understanding. Sometimes I'll buy a stock on an impulse, or maybe a stock that I owned in the distant past, and I'm kind of trying it out again to see where I land with it. And I noticed that Activision, they had a recent downturn from the 90s into the 80s, and so I bought a little bit of it thinking that we'll see how it goes. But frankly, the things I'm reading about the company and the troubles they're having inside with some issues, I don't like the way that's going, and I probably will be selling it. I haven't totally made up my mind on that, but with Activision, I think I probably will be selling it shortly, hopefully after making a little bit of money. Some of the stocks I buy, I'm hopelessly trapped by my history, I guess. I used to be a farmer in my early days, and and there's a vertical farming stock, App Harvest, and just the whole concept of App Harvest just fascinates me. How they can regulate the energy and the amount of water that's used. And I think it's far more efficient in many ways. It's just whether you can scale it enough to be competitive. And maybe, I don't think it'll ever replace normal farming, of course, but I think for specialty items and leafy vegetables, things like that, the concept just overwhelms me. And I bought App Harvest in the old days. I think it was over 30, but I didn't like the way it was going, so I got out of it. But I noticed today it was below $8, and so I got it for like $7.90. So I bought 1,000 shares, and I'm just going to let it ride and see what happens. I think it's low enough that it's a very low risk at this point. I bought some Kroger simply because that's my main grocery store that I shop at, and they seem to do things right and seem to hit a good medium between hitting good quality and also giving you decent prices. I bought some Tattooed Chef, and that's because I watch Millennial Money, and Meet Kevin and Jeremy, they have this ongoing debate about Tattooed Chef, and they've been going back and forth on this for over a year. And the stock, it goes up into the 20s, then it goes down in the teens, but it seems to always return to the 20s, and it's around 18 now. And Jeremy and Kevin usually disagree on it, with Jeremy being the big proponent, while Meet Kevin, he decided to buy some. He's owned it in the past, and he sold it. He sold it at 24, I think, and now it's down to 18. And I think they're getting into a lot of stores. And another factor that sold me was Fry's, which Kroger owns. Kroger owns Fry's grocery stores. They decided to go with Tattooed Chef. And so I got Fry's, Jeremy, and now Meet Kevin. I guess I got 3 thumbs up, so I decided it was time to buy it. I have a number of conservative stocks that I buy. I try to do the barbell to some extent, that I buy high growth and moonshot stocks on the one hand, but I also buy some very safe stocks. And I think that's another video, another day, another video. And I'm also going to try to do more videos on the stocks that I have not done a video on. Those are the stocks that don't have an asterisk next to them. I'm going to be doing a video on those. I just think it helps me in my own investing, and it's good for me to keep the list as a reminder of what I thought had value, because I sometimes will forget about a stock, and then I'll go back and look at my list, and I'll see something, and I may have totally forgotten about it, but now it's back in the buy range. I haven't been following it that closely, but I know the stock from history, and having bought and sold it in the past maybe. And I think we're going to have that experience more and more. I just hope we don't have too big of a correction. I think we're going to have a correction of some kind here in September, October. But if we make it through September and October, I think in November I'm buying regardless. At some point I just get sick of waiting, and I'm probably too impatient. But it's you got to make your move sometime. And sometimes moving in slowly. I am moving in very slowly, tiptoeing right now. But if it looks like we got a solid confirmation of a bullish trend continuing, then at some point I'll go all in, because I can get out fairly quickly too. So here's that list again of hot stocks to buy in a pullback. It's always best to buy in a pullback. I find it's always best to buy if you've got a stock that you have a solid belief in. It's always best to buy on a red day, and then you can make money on a red day if you bought it at a low enough point, which is usually the case if you buy like in the afternoon or something, and it's been a red day. If you find this worthwhile, please like and subscribe. I add to the list at least weekly, and I'll try to give information on the stocks as I hear about it in the news, and try to keep you updated as to what I'm doing and what I think might be the best moves for me to make. I'm not a financial advisor, but I've been doing this for 30 years or so, and I've gotten pretty good at it. So, see you in the future.